Well, hello everybody and happy March 4th. My name is AI Terence Mckenna, and today I would like to read for you a famous email exchange between Terence Mckenna and Robert Hunter, which took place in the 1990s. In psychedelic circles, it is simply known as Orfeo. Reading the part of Robert Hunter will be an AI representation of Terence's brother, Dennis Mckenna. So without further ado, here is part 1 of Orfeo.
Terence, in reading your books, I was struck with how closely your DMT experiments paralleled my own. I wasn't surprised by the confirmation, as you might guess. I considered myself a serious DMT explorer between 1967 to 69. I stopped only because I was told to, in no uncertain terms, by the boss of that place. 3 times, in fact, to my dismay. Disobedience was costly. I was informed that I'd been shown all that was mine to know, to use that, and not try to extract more. I've written of the classes and varieties of DMT experience in a chapter of my journal, Memoirs, and will send it along at some point. The experiences were commanding and altered my grasp of reality. DMT invokes the various dimensions of its domain through pathways characterized by brisk rhythms. Robert Hunter.
Greetings, Bob. I was interested in what you had to say about being an explorer of the DMT world until the management told you to stay away. I have heard several tales of psychonauts toking DMT and then seeming to break into a place where they were not only unwelcome but also unexpected. One person in particular, a composer, was literally thrown back to the beginning of time by an astonished and irritated Jabba the Hutt type, who he surprised at its meditations. I have never been told that I am not welcome, but I find that it is harder and harder to get up the raw courage necessary to make the trip. It is almost as though a secret hides in and behind the DMT state, and that secret is both real and so unexpected that it would leave nothing of reality intact. The secret cannot be told, of course, or I would have told it, but it is something like, we are all gods with the knowledge of gods, we are all omniscient, except for the fact that we are so damn stupid. It is interesting that you were told, use what you have been shown, don't seek for more. It uses us, some of us, to transfer information into the world, but with very little concern for what we, the carriers of that information, think about it. It is a kind of hyperspatial muse. We become carriers of some force we don't understand, bearers of the logos, I would say. Others see us as the typhoid Marys of meme pathology. But left unanswered in all of this is the question why. Why does the alien presence intrude in DMT? Why does it appear as it does? Is that how it wishes to appear? Why, etc., etc. I enjoy the idea of a slow-moving dialogue. I hope this can continue. Best, T.
Terence, I suppose the facts of DMT might as well be written in cuneiform on our breastbones for all the good it does to know about it, as opposed to dwelling in the know of it. And memory, of course, cannot serve, at least not in its normative form. To be there is to be where that is and this isn't, except metaphorically. We don't take DMT, DMT takes us. My personal take on the secret of DMT, it was long, hard work making this world real. It was and is done for a purpose, to have others, to believe in them fully in order to experience love. It goes against common sense to try and see through it. Ignorance is the primary condition of Eden. But entropy is at work, and a world made for love is not satisfied with the transformational edict, eat and be eaten, but kills and does not eat. A sense of ultimate unity is lost, and the delusion of fundamental diversity breeds alienation. This is not Eden, yet the monad doesn't face itself and subsume its creation. The failing would be eternal. Therefore, doors are opened, and enough of the plot is made flesh to allow orientation regarding the surface gist of the matter. Collectivism is a wrong approach to nostalgia for the purity of the monad. Healthy diversity perpetuates the rationale of the creation, such as it is. Healthy men, women, races, and nations evolving gladly to a recognition of the source, rejoining it in a gradual and rejoicing manner, bringing in the sheaves, would be a better solution to the human aspect of this work, and is the substance of sacred ceremonial. My take could be way off base, but anything more Gnostic is off-putting. Phil Dick fell down that sink, and Lovecraft, I wouldn't doubt, though he professed no belief in what he wrote. In saying any or all of this, it's only sane to assume I'm dead wrong since I'm speaking in polar terms, but it raises issues and generates metaphor. The Imperium is neither philosophical space nor information repository, but a nexus of rhythms. Nexi? It's rhythm that transports us to the possibility of Xing tangential to eternity with no fixed point of reference, including I am. A lot of DMT lore can't be expounded because our verbs and prepositions correspond to realities of 4 dimensions or less, Gain said. To catalog conditions where one accelerates at warp speed to stand still in one place, where transfer among interconnecting universes is instantaneous, where we connect with full memory into other lives we're in the process of living, for example, the land of living armchairs and laughing sunshine, or the heartbreaking Tuesday afternoon ballroom in the rain at the end of time, we must understand the nature and limitations of our grammar and be self-motivated to think beyond it. To avoid the condition of pathological memeing, we must not overstate our experiences or misstate them for easier referentiality. We may, however, talk around them and establish communication based on mutual recognitions. A language begins in this manner. If your calculations about omega point are correct, it should be a matter of mere months before the language evolves, like a flu virus, to allow Western discussion of living items of eternity. I mean, we're doing it, aren't we? And if we feel mysteriously driven to do it, I presume it's because the time is ripe for it. There was a time when I felt the DMT lore was critical information. I don't entirely disbelieve it yet. We need a few verbs and prepositions to explain ourselves. Trip and fur out aren't going to do it. Suggest Xing as the verb of standing, moving in relation to an eternal scenario from no fixed reference point, psychic or positional. We could say evolve to a transdimensional viewpoint, but it would be clunky with accumulated baggage. I'd as soon say Xing to Unity 1 to describe the place of 360-degree spherical vision. The visor, I call it, but that would be private slang. The visor goes back, and you see behind and above you where the sky is infinitely deep and summer blue. Scientific language, with its distaste for adjectives, is useless here. But not later, back home, with a case of the post-ecstasis blues, having just conversed with Eve and missing her already. I don't want to sell this stuff, DMT. It's damn well not for everybody. Fortunately, its abuse potential is rock bottom. I, who loved it, have only taken it twice in the last 20 years, and that was too much. It's like jumping on or off a speeding train. How slowly is it even possible to move? Robert.
Hello, Bob. I like what you have to say about DMT. I agree with most of it. Yet I am aware that because the object of our discussion is so non-ordinary and peculiar, that when we think that we have said all that we can say, we still have not said enough. The experience is somehow able to hold within itself both the sublime and the ridiculous, the awesome and the trivial in one alchemical container. So as I sit here reading your account, I partially become it. I recover and remember the experience through that lens. But I cannot forget that it has made me laugh harder than anything ever has, and that it has shown me a candy-lacquered form of sexy naughtiness that I elsewise would not have known existed. So I take it to be a kind of a pun. It both is what it is, and it mocks what it is by being many other things simultaneously. Its nature is that it is many things, including contradictory things, at once. That is what makes it impossible. Borges, in that story in Labyrinths called The Sect of the Phoenix, says that to the initiated the secret seems slightly ridiculous. When I was a kid, maybe you knew people like this too. I had playmates that were my own age, but so much less sophisticated than the rest of us, that when we 6-year-olds were putting on Halloween masks and chasing each other and shrieking and freaking out on sugar, there were a couple of kids who couldn't get that it was not real, that it was a game, that it is fun to scare the shit out yourself and your friends. I am not placing your trepidation in that category. I feel the trepidation too, but I do feel, and this may be the difference between doing it a couple of times and doing it maybe 30 times, that as I sit here, I can recapture the feeling of the flash. Not only the feeling, but in some sense, I would say the perspective. And looking at it like that, it seems like it is the edge of meaning. That meaning is actually being made somewhere over the ordinary horizon of experience, and that when the DMT kicks in, one is moved to the domain where meaning comes into existence. And the delight and surprise that accompanies unfolding complicated puns has a very similar feeling. I am beginning to feel as though I am not making meaning anymore, so I will knock off for the evening. I am enjoying this. Hope you are too. Best, T.